Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Gene Culver with Songwriters and Producers, and I've been wanting to do this video for a while. Um, there's a lot of information that I want to share with you about distribution of your music. I read an article on Ari's Take. I'm going to tell you where I got the article from. I'm going to give you my opinion on it as well. And I'm also going to take you through a spreadsheet to kind of get a good idea of what is really going on the distribution side. So the reason I'm doing this is because overwhelmingly I keep hearing artists tell me where they've distributed their music. And I'm here to tell you that distributing your music simply through any distribution company that at the current time of the recording, at the current time that the article was written, by Ari and others that have collaborated here on his team, the research that they've done at the current time, those distribution channels that you're using may or may not be advantageous for you to help you take your career to the next level. So for some of you, you may have seen this already. For some of you, this is going to be a shock because I hear you telling me where you're distributing your music, and it makes a difference. Now, here's the cool thing. Your music ends up on the same platform no matter what. It's kind of like going through, the car wash. You got a great car wash on this side of town and a so-so car wash that's brushless on this side of town. And these guys will put the Armor All on it. And these guys over here could really care less. They don't vacuum your car out. Just come on through and keep going. And thanks, we collected your money. I'm going to tell you, it's almost like that to a certain degree. So at the time of recording this, I just want to share with you how I think you need to some of you need to make better decisions when it comes to distributing your music, because you're all going to get to the same place. You're all going to end up on Spotify, but there's a difference in terms of reporting, how you get there, how quickly you get there. If you have to take music down, how are the reports? How much money are they taking from you? What's the percentage? There's a lot here, okay? So I run Songwriters and Producers, and my thought here with Songwriters and Producers was this. As an artist, the distribution channel for the producers and songwriters, some of them are also performers, but also songwriters and producers who have studios that they work in. If you want that music to generate royalties for you on the songwriter side, then you need to make sure that the artists that you're working with, give them the right advice. Make sure they pick the right channel to distribute their music. Okay, so the article came from here. I've already opted in. So it came from here. Here's the address. All right. This is Ari's Take. I read this article. It's been around since 2018, or at least updated. And the article goes through some of the details about Reverb Nation, Symphonic, DistroKid, TuneCore, Stem, Horus Music, CD Baby. And at the end of the day, if you're trying to get your music placed in film and television, and that's also another goal of yours because of that upfront money and that long-term residual income and royalties and streaming revenue, then you have to make the right decision with the right company. And all music doesn't go through the same channel, in my opinion. So one of the things that he said in this article, and I'll let you take your time and read through it, that all of them, all of them have their good and their bad. And it just depends on what you need. So I want to help break some of that down for you. So let's go over and take a look at the chart that was created. Okay. So when you get here, you're going to see there's about 16 different distribution companies at the time of recording this that were worth talking about. Some of them, which like we are aggregators. And there's a reason that they are aggregators. I can't necessarily speak 100% for them, but the reason we're aggregators, you'll find out at the end, is that we'll work through different distribution channels depending on the music that you would like to put out. So let me jump right into it here. So here you're going to see Amuse, AWAL, CD Baby, DistroKid, and guess what? The list continues all the way across. Some of them you may have seen, Ditto, Fresh Tunes, Horus Music. I've had conversations with them on the telephone. They're from the UK. Some of these have been bought out. Some of them are actually owned by some of the big boys like CD Baby. So 1RPM, We'll talk about that. If you have Latin music, 1 RPM, that's what they're known for. But some people will go through 1 RPM, but they don't have any Latin music. And it's the hand. You ever seen the emoji with the hand over the face? I'm wondering why. Why did you pick that? Oh, I don't know. I just know them. Overwhelmingly, people are with CD Baby. There's some issues there for a lot of artists. So it's nothing against CD Baby. It's just that there are others, by the way, who, when you distribute through them, they actually have people listening to your music and watching the charts, and they're looking to do deals with you where they want to get behind you as an artist and help you take your business to the next level. So you may distribute it through a company that doesn't do that, and you miss out on that. Or you may be an artist that has an incredible song, which is amazing for China, and you find that that company doesn't distribute through China. They only distribute here in the United States, and they have no interest in distributing in China. So you want to go back and read that article, okay? So let's go through and let's look at some of them. Let me take you over to a spreadsheet that I created. And I think the spreadsheet, some of the benefits of this spreadsheet that I created is that, well, first of all, I can get most of the stuff on one page, and I wrote a few notes here and there. So here are some of the companies. Amuse. Now, at the time of this, what I read was that they are looking for artists to catch fire with singles and offer them a 50-50 record deal and funding. So if you're taking your music through someone else, that's probably not going to be to your advantage. They have an app that you can use to upload. They talk about, how much revenue the company has in terms of investment. And again, this information could change. As I look over to the right here, 100% commission, so they don't take anything. And they have 200 outlets. Some of them, as you look here on the outlet side, like CD Baby, they only have 100. So that means you're losing out on 100 locations. Again, at the time of recording this, they only have 100 locations. You'll also look to see, I wrote limited, outlets. And so that when we're aggregating and when we're talking to people and someone says, I would like to get X amount of commission back and I need 200 locations and I need something up quickly. Well, CD Baby is quick. They're within 1 to 2 days to get it over here to Apple, Spotify, and 3 to 5 days to get it on Spotify. Whereas here, AOL may take 4 weeks. However, keep in mind that they're owned by Kobalt. Kobalt is the company that does all of the sync licensing. So they're a huge sync company. I interviewed one of the representatives from there at Music Biz. I believe it was like 2018 or something like that. But here's the deal. You can't just walk into Kobalt and say, hey, I've got music, right? So that means that when your music, your song that you have, or a set of songs are going through this distribution channel right here, they're going through and the people at Kobalt are listening and watching that music. So if they hear something, there's your invitation, possible potential invitation into a Kobalt, whereas you can't get in there any other way. But for that, you're going to sacrifice 15%. Are you starting to see and understand here why this is happening and why you can't just simply pick any company for distribution? CD Baby has a company that works with them for distribution as well, okay? And we'll get to that in a moment. It's a company called Songtrust, and we'll talk about them. So here you can see there's no sign-up fee, whereas some of the other locations, there's a distribution fee per album and per single. So $9.95 for the single, and album is $49, $50, right? And they're going to take 9%. So what you're going to do is, when you opt in, I'm going to share this spreadsheet with you. I want you to have this spreadsheet. I'm going to put it online so that when you opt in, I'll have it emailed over to you. My team will automatically email it to you. You can opt in at 1 in the morning and they'll automatically send it to you. So you can download this and play with this for yourself and try to get a better understanding of who you're going through. This takes a little bit of time, but this is what our team does. We sit and we look at the current companies, the new companies that are coming on, and we aggregate. We listen for a song with our A&R ears and our ears, and we say to you, I think you'd be better off. This type of song is the right kind of song to go through this company with. Okay? So then, of course, there are other little issues that come up. So, for example, additional artist cost, getting ISRC codes and UPC codes. These are basically the social security numbers of the song. And they all give those away for free, except for CD Baby at the time of recording this. According to that article, the cost for a UPC code is $5 for a single and 20 for an album. And you only get 100 distribution points. But if you really have not planned out your music and you need it to be there overnight because you just got invited to the Tonight Show and you're going to perform and it's that important to you, then you can load your music up within 1 to 2 days and have it on Apple and Spotify. Okay. However, they don't have an in-house Spotify playlist plugger. So, once you're on board with Amuse, they have a Spotify playlist plugger. Now, there's lots of ways. We have an entire team that can pitch your music for placement in one of those playlists. That means that now your royalties are coming in naturally. You can't buy royalties. I don't think you should. We have people who will listen to your music, and we have lots of people who will listen to your music and provide feedback. But to just simply buy them, and that doesn't do you any good. In fact, if you're caught doing that, they're going to take your music down and close your account. So you want someone to be there to plug your music for you if it makes sense to you. So you may give up some other things here and there. That's why I think it's so important to go through this. Now, here's the other thing. So let's go over and take a look at, so I don't keep you here forever. You can certainly look through this on your own. But let's look at one of my favorites, Symphonic. So Symphonic can get your music onto the Apple Store and Spotify Store within 3+ days, right? Great company located in Florida. They have, in full disclosure, sponsored my events before. But until listen, they sponsored. We were great. That's awesome. Thank you. We're putting an event together. You're in the music piece, and so are we. And so thanks for the sponsorship. But until we read the article and understood and had conversations with them, we didn't even know that, Symphonic is primarily hip hop music. So let's go back, and I'm going to stop picking on CD Baby, but let's say you picked one of these other companies. They're not interested in, let's say, they'll take your money, right? But they're not necessarily interested in your hip hop music. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But we know for a fact Symphonic is interested in one of the #1 genres, which is hip hop music. They have a sync team. They have a team over there who will listen to your music and determine if something catches fire, can we put a certain amount of money behind? Now, the last time behind that project and to help take you to the next level. So it's sort of like a record deal. You'll have to talk with them once it gets to that point. But if you're distributing your music, where else would you put your music when someone says, we're listening and we're watching the numbers and we're watching you climb and we're watching you make money and we're saying we'd like to have a part of that, right? Because they're in business to make money. So you've got to look that deal over, make sure it makes sense for you. But if your music is over at, let's say STEM, because you happen to hear about them, well, they only have, looks like, 12 outlets. This one has 5 outlets. Some of these, Reverb Nation has 90. I hear so many people that have their music with Reverb Nation. There's nothing wrong with that if you're good with just having it at Reverb Nation. But at the end of the day, I would imagine more outlets could be good for you, especially if you go down to the bottom here. And let me take you down just a little bit to the bottom, okay? And let's take a look at, the splits and how much they get. Let's take a look at, hey, they distribute in China. So if your music is the right type of music and you want your music in China, here are distributors who distribute music in China. So some of you will make way more money overseas than you were here in the United States. If you listen to some of the music, particularly from the 60s, the 80s, and 90s, that British invasion, the Beatles, they were invading the United States, but also our music was invading their country, and they loved our music and we loved theirs. My father's been in the music industry well over 50 years, and he would go to the UK, and I mean, here in the United States, that he couldn't walk down the street in certain areas without people recognizing him, but in the UK, it was just instant. It was absolutely instant. So he was a rock star over there, bigger than he was here in the United States. So if you have music that you think fits that type of distribution, then you want to pick the right company. That's my point. Make sure you pick the right company to help you get to the next level. Okay, so here, but you can find out here that there are 250,000 songs distributed through SoundDrop, 1 million through RouteNote, but then there are 2 million songs through 1RPM. And again, their primary market, and this is just from memory. Let me go through and see if I can. YouTube Brazil, excuse me, and that's where their YouTube music shows up. Why? Because their primary genre that they look for, just like Symphonic looks for hip hop, they look for music that shows up in, they like Hispanic music. And so I know I wrote that in here somewhere. So that's my point, that you certainly want to pick the right company for that. And so, but if you go over here to CD Baby and see how many songs they have distributed at the time that that article was written, CD Baby has 7.3 million songs distributed compared to DistroKid, which has 1.6, and so on and so on, and 2 million through Reverb Nation. And Symphonic, they have 50,000. They've only been around, I'm going to say, off of memory, 4 to 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. They just received a $4 million investment, something like that was written online. Bottom line is that who are they going to pay attention to? Hey, I've got 50,000 songs that have been distributed, and we care about your phone call. Not that the others don't, but in order to get someone on the phone, to work with someone to help take what you're doing to the next level, to pay attention, sometimes you got to pick the smaller one that needs that win. And there's a couple of them in there that need a win, that want a bigger win. And I'm not saying not to go to CD Baby. It's a great company. Obviously, you don't distribute 7.3 million songs, 4 million songs by accident. But their brand is out there. They put a conference on. They do a lot of things that help bring them to the surface. And so since they do that, they're getting a lot more attention. So everyone goes CD Baby, CD Baby. But if you're in hip hop, my opinion, I don't think it's CD Baby. That's just my opinion. I think there are other companies that are paying attention to hip hop. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot here, right? So I just wanted to sort of just make you aware, kind of give you an idea of what's happening in the industry. If you opt in, I'm going to send you this Excel spreadsheet. And yes, you can simply go over right to the website there where Ari is. There's the web address, and I'll make sure that's on the page and send that to you in an email as well, so you can read over the details. He gets into the details of the different distributors, and he gives you, what it's worth, the good, the bad. He gets into the issues that he has had with a couple of them, customer service. The guy's kind of gone before everyone else, and he's made the mistakes, and he knows who's going to be nice with him and who's going to be, short-tempered, and who's going to act like they could care less. And he's had some great reviews. Some of them he's gotten into a couple arm wrestles with, at least one of them that I know of, and I'll let you read that on your own. But it's important to know, the bottom line is, where you're distributing your music. And also download this chart. You'll see this chart come up. It's a big chart. The reason I put it in the Excel spreadsheet is because we took the time to make sure that everything that you're seeing here, I'm going to see if I can shrink this puppy down. But if you make it really big on your screen, you'll see it. But see, that's what it looks like. So it was not really possible to it's almost like it comes in one of two sizes. This one, and then you blow it up, and when you blow it up and you click on it, now you can see all of the details. And I just put it in an Excel spreadsheet for you. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. If there's anything that we can do, for you as a songwriter, as a producer, we have a management team. We actually manage producers. I used to manage artists. I don't manage artists anymore. I manage producers and songwriters. We can work to get you in advance. If you have royalties that are coming in, there are a number of different relationships and investors that we have in place. Sometimes those investments can be whatever number they are, 10,000, 20,000, 90,000, a million. And you can use that to grow your business and get to the next level. We create a brand around the producers and songwriters we work with. We pitch your music for sync licensing, and we work on collecting revenue for you and helping you from a marketing standpoint so that you can sell more music. Hey, that's who we are. So let us know if there's anything we can help you with. Hopefully I gave you some great information, which was worth my 30, 45 second commercial there, Dan. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.